All right, so are you ready to dive in? Today we're tackling dating mistakes and how to fix them.
Oh, I'm definitely ready.
It claims to have all the answers about those common dating pitfalls. The ones that can totally sabotage your love life. So we're going to see if it actually lives up to the hype.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what they say.
Me too. Ready to potentially revolutionize your dating game?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, awesome. So the source jumps right into it. It highlights three big mistakes people make:
Okay.
being too nice,
Uh-huh.
talking too much,
Like,
and not making a move.
makes sense?
So let's unpack that first one, being too nice. Because honestly, I feel like everyone has met that nice guy
Oh, yeah, for sure.
who just can't seem to catch a break.
Right.
And the source makes a really interesting point here. It's not enough to just be agreeable. Like, that doesn't automatically equal attraction.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Would you really want to date someone who just agrees with everything you say?
No, not at all. It would
Wow.
get boring so fast.
Yeah. Right. It's like, where's the excitement? The source actually lists a bunch of these classic nice guy behaviors.
Like what?
Oh, agreeing with everything, never teasing, sending constant texts.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
almost painful how relatable some of this stuff is. I swear, I've seen those exact texts in my own dating history.
Oh, I'm sure we've all been there at some point. But you know what's interesting?
What?
There's actually a psychological reason why this whole nice guy approach fires.
Okay, tell me more.
Studies have shown that people are more attracted to those who present a bit of a challenge.
So it's like we want what we can't have.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
that push and pull dynamic that creates that spark.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So instead of being a doormat, the source suggests, flipping the script.
Okay, I like that. Flipping the script. What does that look like?
Yeah, so they even get this example of a playful tease. It's like, wow, I thought you had good taste, but now I'm rethinking everything.
Ooh, spicy.
I know, right? I can see how that could be effective, but you got to do it right.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about finding that balance, being kind and playful, but without crossing the line into being mean-spirited.
Right, right, right.
The key is to show, hey, I have opinions, and I'm not afraid to express them. Plus, a little banter can actually create a connection.
It's like a playful tension.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're not talking about being a jerk. We're talking about like someone who's confident enough to, tease a little, keep things
Uh-huh.
interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Be engaging.
Makes you think. This actually makes me wonder, what does the source say about talking too much?
Oh, interesting.
Because sometimes I can get a little chatty, especially when I'm nervous.
Oh, me too. It's
Ah.
so easy to fall into that trap.
Yeah.
But the source makes a really compelling argument for the role of mystery
Okay.
and emotional tension in attraction.
I see.
They're basically saying that by revealing everything up front, you kind of kill the sense of discovery, which is a key part of what makes dating exciting.
You're like spoiling the ending of a movie.
Exactly. You want to keep them guessing.
Keep them on the edge of their seat.
Yeah, you got it.
It's like you're spoiling the ending of a movie before it even starts. And I guess that's why oversharing can be such a killer in the early stages of dating. Speaking of oversharing, I feel personally attacked by some of the examples in here. Telling your whole life story on the first date, sending those long, rambling texts when she's barely responding, been there, done that, got the metaphorical friend zone t-shirt.
Oh, those examples are painfully familiar. But think about why that talk less, listen more advice works.
Okay, why?
When you hold back a bit, you're essentially leaving space for the other person to fill in the blanks about you.
Okay.
And guess what? Our brains tend to fill those blanks with positive assumptions.
Really?
Yeah. It's like we create a more compelling picture of someone when we have to work a little harder to get to know them.
Oh, that is so interesting.
Right.
So it's not just about being mysterious. It's about letting the other person's imagination do some of the work for you.
Exactly. And this ties into another point the source makes about making the other person invest in the conversation. Instead of rambling on about yourself, try asking open-ended questions that encourage them to share their thoughts and experiences.
That's a great tip. It makes the other person feel like you're genuinely interested in them, not just waiting for your turn to talk. And honestly, who doesn't love talking about themselves?
It's a win-win. You get to learn more about the other person and they feel heard and appreciated. Plus, it creates a more balanced and engaging dynamic, which can only be a good thing.
Okay, so we've covered being too nice and talking too much. Now let's tackle the elephant in the room. The dreaded not making a move scenario. This is where I think things can get really tricky because fear of rejection is a powerful thing.
Absolutely. And the source doesn't sugarcoat it. Waiting too long can lead to the dreaded friend zone. But I think it's important to unpack why this happens. It's not just about making a physical move. It's about actively signaling your romantic interest.
Right, because if you're not flirting, initiating physical contact, in a respectful way, of course, or setting up dates quickly, you're basically sending the message that you're not really interested, or worse, that you lack confidence.
And let's face it, confidence is a major turn-on. There's something incredibly attractive about someone who knows what they want and isn't afraid to go after it. It shows that you're comfortable in your own skin and you're not afraid to take a risk, which can be incredibly exciting for the other person.
It's like you're adding a bit of spice and unpredictability to the mix. But I can imagine that for some people, taking that first step can feel terrifying. Like, what if they get rejected?
I think it's important to acknowledge that fear of rejection is totally normal. It's a primal instinct that's wired into our brains. But what if we reframe rejection as a learning experience? Not every interaction is going to lead to a romantic connection, and that's okay.
That's such a good point. It takes the pressure off and allows you to approach dating with a more playful and experimental mindset.
Exactly. And remember, even if you do get rejected, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means that particular person wasn't the right fit. And who knows? The next interaction could lead to something amazing.
I love that optimistic outlook. So basically, we're saying that taking action, even if it feels scary, is ultimately the key to breaking out of the friend zone and creating those sparks.
Precisely. Because even if you don't get the exact outcome you're hoping for, you're still gaining valuable experience and learning more about what you're looking for in a partner.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the importance of being a challenge, the power of mystery, and the need to take action. I'm curious, what are some of the biggest takeaways you're getting from all of this?
Well, first of all, I think this source does a great job of highlighting the connection between confidence and successful dating. It's not about being arrogant or cocky. It's about believing in yourself and your worth, which then radiates outwards in how you interact with others.
I completely agree. And it's not just about attracting a partner, it's about feeling good in your own skin and living a more fulfilling life overall. But I feel like there's still something missing here. We've talked about what to do, but how do we actually make these changes stick?
That's a great question. I think it starts with self-awareness. We need to be honest with ourselves about those patterns in our behavior that might be holding us back.
Like, do we tend to overshare?
Yeah, exactly.
Do we, play it too safe, avoid taking risks?
Right. And once we identify those patterns, then we can start to make conscious choices to, shift our behavior.
But let's be real for a second. Change isn't always easy.
No, it's definitely a process.
I'm thinking back to some of my own dating disasters, and it makes me wonder, what if we could learn from other people's successes?
Oh, that's interesting.
Is there anything to be said for, observing how confident people navigate social situations?
What a fantastic idea. I think there's so much we can learn by paying attention to how confident people carry themselves,
Yeah.
how they communicate, how they approach interactions.
Yeah, it's like they're giving us a live masterclass in confidence.
Yes.
We can watch their body language, their tone of voice, see how they make other people feel comfortable.
Right. It's all about picking up those subtle cues and then, finding ways to integrate them into our own style.
So it's not about copying someone else's personality. It's about observing what works and adapting it to fit, our own authentic selves.
Exactly. Got it.
Yeah.
And the beauty of observation is that it allows us to learn passively,
Uh-huh.
without putting any pressure on ourselves.
Right.
We can just observe, absorb, and then adapt at our own pace.
I love that. Sometimes we get so caught up in our own heads that we forget to just look around and learn from other people.
It's so true.
So to sum all this up, are we basically saying that self-awareness combined with observation and a willingness to experiment, those can be really powerful tools for transforming our dating lives?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we're all on a journey of self-discovery, and there's always something new to learn.
Okay, I am feeling super inspired right now. Before we wrap up, any final pearls of wisdom for our listeners who are ready to take their dating game to the next level?
You bet.
Yeah.
I think the most important takeaway from this whole deep dive is that we all have the power to create the dating experiences we want.
Okay.
It's not about luck or waiting for the perfect person to magically show up. It's about taking control of our actions,
Yeah.
and making choices that align with our goals.
Yeah. It's like you're saying, hey, you're not a victim of circumstance. You have the power to write your own dating story.
Exactly. Take charge.
Okay, I love that. So to recap those 3 key mistakes we've been talking about, being too nice without any edge, talking too much and, killing the mystery,
Right.
and not making a move. The big one.
Yeah.
What are the antidotes to these dating dilemmas?
So instead of being a doormat, be a challenge.
Okay.
Talk less, listen more, and most importantly, be bold. Lead the interaction.
You make it sound so simple, but I know from experience that putting these ideas into practice can be a whole other ballgame.
Oh, for sure.
Any advice on how to actually, like, bridge that gap
Yeah.
between knowledge and action?
I think it's all about baby steps, really. Just start by becoming aware of your patterns.
Okay.
Notice when you're falling into those old habits,
Uh-huh.
and then gently, nudge yourself toward a different approach.
So it's not about being perfect overnight. It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
I like that a lot. Any other nuggets of wisdom you want to leave our listener with?
Absolutely. Remember, dating should be fun.
Oh, yes.
It's an opportunity to connect with interesting people, share experiences, and see if there's a spark.
Uh-huh.
So don't put so much pressure on yourself to find the one. Just relax. Be yourself. Enjoy the journey.
That is such great advice. And hey, even if a date doesn't lead to, like, a romantic connection,
Right.
it's still a chance to learn more about yourself and what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Every interaction is a step closer to finding the right fit.
Couldn't agree more. It's all part of the experiment.
Well, I think we've officially cracked the code on dating mistakes and how to fix them. We went deep, we had some laughs, and hopefully our listener is walking away with some actionable insights.
Here's to more confident connections and fewer dating disasters.
Cheers to that. And to our listener, if you enjoyed this deep dive into dating mistakes and how to fix them, be sure to share it with your friends. Let's spread the knowledge and help each other navigate the wonderful, sometimes wacky world of dating. Until next time.